England, the United Kingdom. Home of endless love, romance, unforgettable first dates, and flares of sparkle.
You're right. Maybe we shouldn't have kids.
Yeah, like we'd make good parents anyway. We are way too irresponsible.
We could never be good parents, not with the way you drink.
Exactly.
So, it's decided then?
Yeah, I guess it's decided. We don't want kids. All right, you heard her. Get the fuck out of here on the double!
Over the last 10 years, the number of singles in the UK has risen by 30%, with less people getting married, more people getting divorced, and less people having kids. Many questions are raising to what has happened for us to see this change. Life is wonderful, but also complex, and there is no handbook as each path is different and unique. So what are some of these changes that has happened in the last 10 years? Well, we've had things like Snapchat, which came out 2011. We had Tinder, 2012. We had Instagram, 2010. Facebook, 2004. And Plenty of Fish, 2003. Programs that are classed as reality TV, early 2000s, Big Brother, Made in Chelsea, The Only Way is Essex. Now it would be easy to just point the finger at Instagram or Tinder, but that's not fair and that's not how we study life. One thing that I will say though, we are in a state of emergency. Many may ask the question, what has social media and reality TV got to do with relationships and dating in the UK? Well, social media has made people more accessible. It has taken billions of lives and put them on a screen. People use social media to date, chat, connect, flirt. The list of things are endless. Reality TV, regardless of what the program is, the storylines are all based on dating and people hooking up. In the midst of all the excitement, followers, likes, views, DMs, a mindset has developed in both men and women that is something that we are going to look at in this film. Hopefully by the end of this film, if you are single, you may find many of the answers to why, and if you're in a relationship that is dying.
So I just wanted to share with you guys, the key to a happy marriage is, for ladies, you need to respect your husband, allow him to be the man that he can be, listen to him, allow him to just shut up! Allow him to, speak.
You may also find some self-help here. Now, dating in the 90s was not that long ago. It was actually a time where a man could make a woman blush. A man telling a woman that he likes her meant a lot more back in those days. Every encounter came from approach. The word catfish wasn't a thing back then. Women were actually smaller in the 90s, believe it or not. Junk food and snacks in the past 20 years has changed the shape of society. Along with the lack of exercise and technology, people have become more lazy. Men also. The level of communication in the 90s was 100% better than today because we used to talk. Not everyone was walking around with a mobile phone back in the 90s. When a girl gave you her number, it was 100 times more valuable than it is today. You may have been the only one to approach her all day or all week if she's a 5 or 6. And there was no texting. You had to be able to hold a conversation. We'd talk for hours on the phone building that connection. It's not like today where you could be on a date with somebody while they're receiving messages from other people. Something that seems to be taking over every aspect of human life is the internet. And online dating is something now used all over the world. In the year 2020, online dating account registration shot up by 49%. With people being in lockdown, many felt it was the only way. At a time millions lost their jobs, owners of apps like Tinder and POF made huge profits. As it always goes in a crisis, other people somewhere will benefit. It's not very nice, but it's the reality that we live in. Being able to meet and chat with anyone in the country at the tap of a button, on one hand, is an amazing achievement in technology. But when using real life experiences and an open third eye, you see the dangers and the destruction ahead. Dating apps and websites have taken dating into another world never seen before, where many now think it's easier finding love on a screen than off a screen. Now, if you were born in the year 2000, then you won't understand the change and where the real love has disappeared to. Now, in my opinion, the internet was the start of the fall, and smartphones were just a nail in the coffin. Men and women were on equal level before 2000. But with everything else that society brings, dating for men is now the biggest confidence killer ever. Now, women before 2000 didn't get a fraction of the attention that they get today.
You know how many niggas want this shit? You know how many niggas want this fucking ass?
A woman could get 50 to 100 messages a day from men complimenting her and asking her out. If you are this woman, the feeling may be good at first, but internally, it does something to the mind that is unhealthy in the long run. Men don't get that sort of attention online, but truthfully, men have never needed that sort of attention. Now, back then, at best, a girl could have 2 to 3 men she was talking to. I emphasize the word talking, as we wasn't texting back then. You used to be able to have to hold a conversation before you could even get a date or for it to even take place. This is the reason why dating was better before the year 2000. Flaking from girls wasn't really a thing back then. Welcome to the millennium. The sexual revolution, as Coach Greg Adams would say. The year of the tramp stamp. You know the tramp stamp, you know, girls that wear the low-cut jeans and they turn around and just above the crack line there, you see the tattoo. That's what they call the tramp stamp. Most men were classed as beta males before 2000. You still had your players and pimps, but men would mostly do everything for a woman. Bend over backwards, moonwalk, star jumps, you name it. Men took it. Smartphones, dating apps, girls with duck faces, guys with their tops off standing by their cars, women past their prime online expecting high value men, fake profiles, and horror stories.
I was on Tinder a few months ago when I was bored. I wasn't looking for anything in particular. Definitely not a relationship though. Just one of those times to see who swiped me for fun and having pointless chats. Plus, there was always that chance that a girl would be down to meet up for the night and, maybe I'd get lucky. That didn't happen this night though. I was the opposite of lucky. My first 20 or so swipes were full of matches. I sent corny pickup lines to a few of them that I found attractive. However, there was one girl who messaged me first. Her name was Michelle. She was a 23-year-old blonde. She was a solid 9 out of 10, almost unrealistically attractive. So the fact that she said hey first was pretty intoxicating, and I was a little intoxicated quite literally already. She was close too, and eventually things were going so smoothly that I decided to try and be ballsy and turn the conversation sexual. That went smoothly as well, so I escalated things even more by getting her number, and then texting her to try and set something up that same night. To my surprise and delight, she seemed really willing, but she wanted to meet out somewhere and hang out first before going back to her place. I was fine with that, and so she seemed to take charge and set up a time and place to meet. She said she wanted to hang in a small park by her house first at 10 o'clock. It was a little odd, but I was down. I literally counted the minutes until around 9:45 when I decided it was time to leave. Before leaving, I sent a quick confirmation text, and she said she was still down to meet. The drive to this small residential park was maybe 10 minutes, so I got there a little early. I walked over to the swing set, the exact point where she wanted to meet. I didn't want to let her know I was early because I thought that might make me seem needy or anxious, so I waited until exactly 10:02 on the dot to text her saying I was there. This was when she stopped responding. 10:05, 10:10, sitting there waiting with no response. Of course, at first I figured she was driving and couldn't check her phone, but as the minutes passed, that idea started to become less realistic, and the idea that she flaked was becoming more realistic. The playground area was surrounded by trees. In fact, this whole park was very woodsy, and having been a weeknight, nobody was out and about at this time. So honestly, it was kind of creepy sitting in that park alone. The only reason I could see was because of the motion detecting light mounted onto the small bathroom shack. In one direction, the park turned to complete woods for miles, while in the other direction, beyond a few trees, was the neighborhood road. I was sitting on the swing, pushing back and forth in boredom and disappointment. When I froze, the sounds of the squeaky metal swing chains stopped, allowing me to hear something echo out from the little bathroom shack. It sounded like, a typical sound you'd expect to hear from inside one of those bathrooms. Like somebody pressing down on the handle of the paper towel dispenser or something like that. What I'm trying to say, it sounded intentional, meaning someone might have been in there. Now this wouldn't be a completely strange thing. After all, it's a public park. Only I would have thought that they would lock the bathrooms up at this hour. And who else would actually be in this tiny park at 10:15 on a weeknight? Then I suddenly felt a vibration in my pocket. So excited, I whipped out the phone and saw a new text from Michelle. The text said exactly this: "Hey, just got here. Come into the bathroom. I have a surprise for you." My heart dropped as I read this. I felt butterflies in my stomach. Not like an innocent nervousness, more like a disturbed and freaked out feeling. My thumbs were hovering over the phone as I was conjuring up something to type in response. Then she sent another text saying, "Get off the swing and come here." As I read the text, I looked up to the tiny bathroom building and opened my mouth, almost ready to scream, when I saw half of a person's face peering out from the entrance from one of the bathrooms, leering over to me on the swing. Only for maybe half a second did I actually see a good portion of their face though, because they slowly moved out of sight. To be honest, in the heat of the moment, I couldn't even tell if it was a male or female, but I knew something bad was going on, and I knew I was disturbed as hell by this situation. So I got off the swing quietly and tiptoed away from the playground. When I was far enough away, I ran for it back to my car. That run back to my car itself was one of the most horrific experiences of my life, because I had the constant fear of somebody chasing me in the back of my mind. As soon as I locked my car, I was able to pause for a breather. But up until that point, nothing compared to the gut-wrenching fear that I felt when I took one last look into the park and saw a grown man emerge from the trees, running towards my car. I turned the key in the ignition and practically threw the car in drive before it was even fully started. When I was halfway down the road and looked back, there was nobody in the street. When I pulled into my driveway, I sat there for 10 minutes, thinking and reflecting. I felt like I had become a changed person at that moment, like I knew what it truly felt like to appreciate life after having my life threatened. I deleted my Tinder account and then deleted the app. I didn't tell any of my family members besides my older brother. I've had a girlfriend for the past 2 months, so luckily I don't even have to think about using that app anymore.
Now that was only one story. Not all dates are like that. Not all encounters are like that. But it's just a reminder of the dangers of online dating and apps. Nowadays, all you need to get people to like you is an image. You could be the most evil person on the planet. But with women being the more attractive breed to look at, places like Instagram have become a death trap to dating.
This is not happening. Oh my god. There's kids? Where are the kids? They went inside. They're what? The fuck?
Go focus doing some squats. You have no ass, bitch. You're so into everyone else's business. You look like a toad. You look like a frog. You have no ass. You have no titties. That's why your husband's probably not fucking you. And that's why you're so upset. Now I understand.
Oh my god.
Jealous ass bitch. Jealousy. Nothing in this world will ever make you happy because you're not happy in yourself. No mansion, no car. Nothing in this world will ever make you happy because you're not happy in yourself. No mansion, no car.
Nothing in this world will ever make you happy unless you're happy with yourself. Let's think about that for a second. Would I need to be taking pictures like that to be getting a reaction from people online if I was already happy with myself? I'm not quite sure. Women online are addicted to attention, so much so that they forget reality quickly and become stuck when they reach 35 or 40 years of age. I always look for the roots to any problem, as the answers never come from the surface. There's always a reason to why people act the way they do. Now, men are not perfect, never have been, never claim to be. But men and women never used to be this far apart in my time or my parents' time. The feminist movement, girl power, Oprah, the Me Too movement, the family court system, all are parts of this engine we see today, along with the replacement of the man of the house, which is the government. The UK government provides women with benefits and help if they don't have a male to do this, which looks good on the surface, but we already know what just looking at the surface reveals. This benefit and this help, it creates a culture of broken families, single mothers, and benefit breeders. You will find many women online that haven't worked for years, have no real skill set, but are looking for a man to sweep them off their feet, looking for a high value man. Men all over are awakening to the situation in front of them and are deciding to either stay single or travel abroad to find a wife, as Western women have fallen victim to the independent woman mindset. Now let me just ask a question. When a company or a business states that it is going independent, does that not mean that they have decided to go alone? The independent woman mindset is the same pattern. How or why could any woman want to bring a male who is the dominant one into that sort of life or mindset? I mean, you decided to go alone. If you notice, these sort of women only really end up with beta males because they can control those sort of men, and that normally ends up in a fail because beta males are not attractive for very long, and unfortunately you can't have it both ways. Picking and staying with the wrong partner is the key to completely ruining your life. Completely ruining your life. Facts. With the government, the family courts, along with the media on the side of the women, men have no option but to swallow the red pill and put on their neo shades. Ladies, welcome to the Alpha Uprising.
Yo, check this shit out. Meanwhile, in the suburbs, dog takes a shit, woman removes her mask, doesn't have plastic bags, picks up the dog shit with the mask, throw that in the trash. It's disposable. Throw away the mask. Throw away the mask. Nah, she thinks it looks clean. She's worried about COVID, but not worried about putting shit over her face, and walks away casual. Now that's chilly cold. I gotta rewind that shit. Look at the level of this nasty bitch. This is pure bliss. This is not the kind of shit you see every day, but it's the type of shit that happens when you don't think anybody's watching. And she's out here doing this kind of shit in broad daylight. This is a prime example of why you can't judge a book by the cover. And she's out here looking halfway decent, but she got shit on her face, literally. Her little dog took a shit. She took the mask to throw away the shit, but then she took the mask and flipped it inside out, but there's still shit on that mask. And she put that mask on her face. Nasty little bitch. Now that's chilly cold.
she ain't even mine. I've never had to go anywhere, cause she's got what I need, my undercover lover. I saw potential in another brother's baby mother.
35, 13-year-old son with a sketchy father. Why would a man who's in the top 10% of earners, who women across the country want that?
Because I have a lot to offer. I feel like...
Would you want your son to, if you had a son making that kind of money, would you want him to bring home a woman who had a 13-year-old son from a sketchy father? Or would you prefer him to get a woman who had no children, who's younger and easier to get on his program?
Depending on his age.
See what I mean? See what I mean? This goes so deep for black women. They will even, should have been an easy question. No, I would not want my son to bring, I want the best for my son. That should have been the appropriate answer. That's why I sat up. That is bullshit. You should want the best for your son.
Of course.
But and are you thinking?
That there was just a classic example of the mindset of today's Western woman. High value and men that have taken the red pill are not attracted to that sort of woman. What's left is men that don't care. Men that will basically entertain anything in a skirt. These men have no value or no class. They are classed as beta males, okay? If it was just a small group of females that were like this, I wouldn't have made this documentary. Thousands, if not millions, of online dating female profiles project this same crap over and over again. The level of entitlement from women who have nothing to offer but a hole has killed the dating game, and real men just don't have the patience or time to waste anymore. See, finding the right partner isn't easy. It's not an easy task at all. It takes time, effort, money, and emotion. None of which are easy for both men and women. Most men just want a woman who is attractive, someone who can communicate well, and is the right age to produce kids. A woman's wants are a little bit more complex, as you see from when you go shopping with them. But when you have a realistic way of thinking, you understand that there are so many hurdles involved here. When you see somebody that you like, number one, that person needs to be single. Two, that person needs to be local, or if not local, there needs to be a way that you can get to that person or they can get to you. If you see somebody that you like, that person needs to be mentally stable. If you meet somebody that you like, that person also needs to be attracted to you. If you meet somebody that you like, this person needs to have a closet that isn't going to mess you up if you find out. Because we've all got a closet. We all have things in the past that we've done that we're not too proud of, but there are some closets that if you open them, yeah, I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. But, you know, if you see somebody or you meet somebody that you like, this person needs to be able to have kids, produce sperm. If you're a woman looking for a man, you know, this person needs to be employed. You know, there's so many different things involved in finding the right person. It's hard enough as it is. Dating already had its challenges, but now with the internet and everything else that has featured here,
It's women that will finally lose and die alone. My analysis shows that when it comes to dating, females have the most power and can cause the most damage. Whether it's marriage, kids, housing, online dating and social media. Whether it's divorce, women seem to be the ones causing the most destruction. And as a man, real caution is to be taken when entertaining these types of women. Ladies, from your own experiences, does it feel like every man you meet is only after one thing? Have you ever thought to why they only want sex with you once? Questions should always be asked of yourself to truly understand and for self-mastery. Yes, a lot of men are dogs, but people in general in a dog-eat-dog society are dogs. That's just another film. Smart, grown, mature, focused men are not fooled by how somebody looks. These men go for younger girls. Older women don't go for younger guys. So eventually, unfortunately, you lose. And as men look better with age while most women lose it quicker, there's only one road that you are heading down. Even the average male nowadays is becoming alpha as the search for truth continues. The Western world is falling apart in so many different ways. If you can't see the signs now, I really do feel for you. It doesn't have to be like this though. You can treat dating and relationships differently. You don't have to follow the crowd. For men, focus on your money, your health and your other goals first. As when you do meet the person that you want to be with, you want to be able to financially be able to provide for a family. Study the female mindset. Travel and explore different cultures. Delete all dating apps unless you are already rich and you have the time to waste. Face-to-face connection will never lose its frequency in regards to human connection. You don't know whether she's online just for attention, so you don't want to waste your time or energy. And lastly, cut your texting down by 50%. You want to connect more with people? Talk to them. And that's for women as well. For women, all I will say is your 20s are the most important years of your life. In regards to finding that man, you come across him in your 20s, you need to make him yours. And I don't mean with kids. Know that what you do in your 20s, you will feel in your 30s and 40s 100 times more. And if you're out here doing any of the things mentioned to guys or on dating apps, then it's your karma. Don't be fooled by what everybody else is doing. When you meet the right person, get married and build a strong family, it's the most beautiful thing in the world to see and feel. Choose your world.